None of that. But something you forgot. See, everybody's forgotten something. You left it out. Just missed it. See? And so I can bring this out, what you've forgotten, if I ask you, who are you? Well, you say, I'm Paul Jones, or whatever your name happens to be. I say, oh, no. Don't give me that stuff. Who are you, really? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you, really?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're rolling, Scott.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Oh, you know, the usual shit's hitting the fan in every freaking sport in the world, so it's a great time.
And you guys have been on fire, theendofthebench.com. You guys have been killing it lately.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a, I'd say maybe like 3 weeks, ever since Eli retired from the Giants and the NFL. We've been on a roll. I don't know what really happened between like me and Pat, but like we just are in sync and like we're just really getting going.
You guys have been pumping out crazy content. And like you said, I mean, the sports world has just been up in flames over the last 3 weeks. We have a lot to talk about. We only have an hour, so we're probably not going to get to all of it. Probably will barely scratch the surface. But I'd love to talk about Eli's retirement. I'd love to talk about this past Super Bowl. I'd love to talk a little bit about Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. We definitely got to talk about the Mets. There's no avoiding it. And we definitely got to talk about this incoming baseball season. Did I miss something? Is there anything I'm missing?
I mean,
I know there's plenty of other shit.
You're not an NBA guy, but the NBA trade deadline's tomorrow, Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Well, the Knicks just fired
the Knicks fired Steve Mills, president of basketball operations, 2 days before the trade deadline. Really staying on brand with the New York sports nowadays of being a complete dumpster fire. Besides the Yankees, Islanders, Rangers, and the New York Guardians, our XFL team.
And you know something? XFL, we got to talk about the XFL too. I was going to say, there's a tidal wave of shit that we need to talk about. But you know what breaks my heart, Scott? And I guess we'll start here because I want to get the rough shit out of the way. When you were talking about stable New York franchises, it looked like for a minute, maybe if we wind the clocks back to November, December, it looked like for a minute the Mets might be getting there. They might be stabilizing. Good young talent. Not a bad season. A great second half. Got the manager they wanted. Everything was looking just fine.
And then what happened, Nick? Well, please tell me what happened.
Well, in the most Mets way possible, the Houston Astros got caught in that cheating scandal in the World Series. Yep. And again, in the most Mets way possible, it found its way tied to the New York Mets because Carlos Beltran, who was our then manager, was on the Astros team that did cheat. And then we had to let him go, a month and a half before spring training? Before pitchers and catchers report?
Maybe even less.
Maybe even less. Maybe even fucking less. And the worst part about that is I was so excited. I wanted to see Carlos Beltran fulfill the redemption arc. Mm-hmm. Every Mets fan's last memory of him is that Wainwright strikeout. Yeah. And if you talk to Mets fans, they'll tell you they know he's better than that moment. But at the end of the day, this is New York. Right. That was his moment, and that's what we're going to remember. This was his chance to change that. And then it all fell apart before he ever got a shot in the most Mets way possible.
Right. I mean, but the thing is, did you really have to let him go? I mean, I'm a Yankee fan. So you're the Met fan here, but did you really think the Mets had to do it?
Okay, good question. I'm going to preface this. Carlos Beltran is a top 3 favorite Met all time for me.
Okay.
Top 3.
That's fair.
I love him.
That's fair. I'm assuming Piazza and Wright are 1, 2.
Yes.
In whatever order.
Exactly. Those 3 can shuffle around in any order they wish. But did they have to do it? No. They could have stomached this and stood by their man. But this is New York, Scott. Mm-hmm. And the New York media are ruthless sharks who will eat scraps at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to close out my thought, no matter what the Mets did with Beltran, they could have won 3 World Series in a row. No matter what they did, it was going to be tainted by that Astros scandal. There was just no avoiding it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think they really like had to. Like they could have worked around it. I think like baseball kind of like told them like you gotta do something because they didn't have to mention Beltran in their report, and they did that for a reason. And I think a large part of it was to put pressure on the Mets, like, hey, we can't get to him, but it's on you now to do something to him. And I think like, if that's all true, obviously that's all my opinion. If that's all true, then you can't really blame the Mets for doing it. I think from what I've seen on Twitter, like when they hired their new guy Rojas, players seem to be on board with it, which is awesome. He was like their analytical guy, which is
he's been in the organization,
which is what baseball is going to anyway. And he has managed before. He doesn't have big league managing experience, but he has managed before. So I mean, and there were reports that he was the guy all along the Mets wanted to hire, but they felt they had to bring in a name to make the fans happy,
to make a splash,
which is really just brings us back to their new debacle of ownership just always finding a way to get in the way.
One last thing before we get to ownership, because I definitely want to dive into that, but I got to give Beltran his due here. The only reason he was named in that report was because he's no longer protected by the MLBPA. He was a player on that Astros team, not a coach. None of the players got named in that report because all those players are still active.
Right.
Beltran was a retired player, and so he got the short end of the stick. And like you said, baseball put it on the Mets to do something. Because baseball knew they weren't going to deal out a harsh punishment for this team, for that team being the Astros. So they put it on both the Red Sox and the Mets to fire their managers to further put a dent in it.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox and Mets followed suit. But now let's talk about ownership.
Well, no, Nick, they didn't. They agreed to part ways because obviously that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. A guy would just want to walk out of a $4 million job. But let's talk about the ownership. So Mets fans were graced with the news we've been waiting for since we were kids. The Wilpons had finally decided to give up their majority ownership and sell it to Steve Cohen.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Sell it to Steve Cohen, who would become the majority holder in 5 years.
Yep.
And that was like holiday. Like that was the light at the end of the tunnel. That was, hey, this whole Beltran thing sucks, but you know what? We got the ultimate wish. The Wilpons are going away. But now apparently what's the word that's been used? It's on thin ice.
It's on
life support.
Life support, yeah.
The deal is on
which
life
is so
support.
much better than thin ice. I mean, bravo to whoever put that headline out. Like that's amazing.
Life support's great. It stuck. It obviously stuck. But what's going on, man? What's going on with this? I couldn't even bring myself to really look into it, if I'm being honest.
Unfortunately, I mean, even if you wanted to look into it, you're not going to see a whole lot because they're all covered by the confidentiality agreements.
That's right.
So not a whole lot is getting leaked out. I mean, as of now, what we're told is the Wilpons had like last minute demands or whatever, and it's really kind of pissing Steve Cohen off. So right away you think, he's an emotional guy, but like he also has billions of dollars on the line here that he's just willing to give them to get the fuck out of the way. So you could understand it's a high stakes game of chicken, really. It's like, who's gonna blink first. But I think it brings me to my point of like, I say this all the time, like how hard is it to be an owner? Like all you gotta do is you gotta hire the right people and then you go sit in your mansion and you let them do their thing and you cut the checks. Like why are you trying to get in the way
I guess all I'd say is that there are different types of owners, right? Because you could be that owner. You could be the owner who's like, hey, I own this team. Yeah. Therefore, I'm going to surround myself with the right people who know what they're doing and let them run the ball club.
Right, but they don't do that.
Sometimes you have a Jerry Jones owner who wants to be in the action.
Which works to an extent.
It depends on the owner. I feel like it's an individual basis. Like, look at Mark Cuban, right? Yeah. The way he handles the Mavericks. He's into it, obviously. Yeah. And maybe I'm wrong, but Dallas fans don't seem to complain about him all that much. No. At least not in the way that Mets fans complain about the Wilpons.
He's a generally liked owner among the fan base, and he's one of the more influential owners in the NBA. So
exactly.
With the influence comes, you love him or hate him, but for the most part, he's a generally liked owner.
Exactly. So, it's on an individual basis, but you're right in the sense, like, hey, if you're the Wilpons, it's like, let the team run itself.
Yeah.
Hire the people you think are best for the job and let the team run itself. But it's been a nightmare. They want it to be Dodger Stadium. They just seem apathetic. They just seem like they don't care as owners.
And
they're corrupt. They were in the Madoff pyramid scheme, which cost our team a bunch of money.
Yep.
Why the MLB didn't step in after that, I'll never know. But anyway, it's just a fucking mess. And I just want someone else to own this team. At the end of the day, the Wilpons aren't the ones playing ball.
No.
They might be influencing who is on the field playing ball, and that probably gets in the way a lot. But at the end of the day, they're not the ones playing ball. And the Mets have had several opportunities in my lifetime to win a championship. So I can't put all of this on the Wilpons. Whether we're looking at like the 2006 era Mets, or those 2015 era Mets, or the year 2000 Mets, 99 Mets. The Mets have had several opportunities to bring a championship home with the Wilpons as owners. So it's like they're not a stage 4 terminal cancer.
Right.
They're more like stage 1 that we can keep it at bay, like Magic Johnson's AIDS.
Right, and
I mean, you want to talk NBA, so.
Right, but like they're also a good team.
Yeah,
like the NL East is a loaded division.
It's a shuffling board too.
But like you have a real opportunity with this roster to make noise, which is, I guess, like possibly part of Steve Cohen's gripe is like, why did I gotta wait 5 years? Like 5 years, I don't know who the hell's gonna be on this team. Like, where's DeGrom gonna be? Where, like, is Alonso still gonna be good, or is he a flash in the pan? Like who knows what? Or
maybe he doesn't even trust the Wilpons to get an Alonso signing done.
Right,
or shit like that. He's like, hey, I want control of this team now. I know who we should keep, who we should let go.
Right, or maybe he doesn't even trust Brody.
Maybe he doesn't exactly. That
could
be it too.
It's like, why I gotta pay you billions of dollars? I'm just gonna sit here and wait. like what? You could fuck it all up, and then I'm left with 5 years with nothing.
That's so true. They could torch it all down,
right?
Before Cohen gets.
And why wouldn't you? Like if you knew, like,
it would only help your legacy,
right? Because the Wilpons have always said they want to show the fans that they could have brought a championship. So you don't think these 5 years are gonna be full tilt? Like, we're winning now, not our money. Who the fuck cares? Like, he could be buying a disaster.
Yo, Scott, you're so right. This is why
you don't wait 5 years when billions are on the line. Like, this doesn't happen. Like, I don't know how you thought this would possibly work.
I don't know.
And
Scott,
hopefully for your sake, and I have a ton of friends who are Met fans, like, hopefully for their sakes, it all works out. Steve Cohen comes in, the Mets are good. The Mets are good for a while. They spend money, yada, yada, yada. But it ain't looking good, buddy. It's just not looking good.
Look, I look, it's like when the Beltran news broke, I just immediately went to, I'm just going to assume he's gone. And if he's not gone, it's a bonus. I'm just going to assume this deal is dead. And if it's not dead, I'll take it as a bonus. But I've been a Mets fan long enough. I'm assuming this deal is just fucking dead.
And you kind of back of your mind kind of thought that from the start.
No, I didn't. No.
All right.
My optimism got the best of me.
I feel like some Met fans kind of always had this in the back of their mind, that this was definitely a possibility. Just because, like you said, it's the Mets.
It's the Mets.
And I don't mean that as like, oh, I'm a Yankee fan, like, fuck you Met fans. But, like, it just kind of happened. Like, it finds you. It finds the Knicks, finds the Jets.
It's a nightmare.
Shit just fucking happens.
It's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. But look, at the end of the day, this 2020 Mets roster looks good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to look at. At the end of the day, fuck 5 years down the line. Tomorrow looks good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I want to come back to baseball, but I want to spend some time away from it before we come back.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about the XFL.
I don't know how good a conversation this will be, guys, but
I don't know how long it'll be either.
Tight.
I don't know how long a conversation is going to be either. But
I have to cut this in post.
Well, the debut is Sunday, right? Or is it next Sunday?
So it's they play, from what I see, they play on Saturday and Sunday. The New York Guardians' first game is Sunday at 2:00.
This Sunday?
This Sunday at 2:00.
Who are they facing?
I want to say Tampa Bay, but I'm not even...
I'll look it up.
If I say they're playing the Tampa Bay Vipers, there's a 10% chance that that's correct.
New York Guardians! And
That's not how you spell it.
That is not how you spell Guardians.
Dude, I was looking up gear online, and their shirts are pretty freaking sick. Like that logo that your audience can't see right now is pretty is pretty cool on a t-shirt.
I mean, it's cool. I just feel like they should have just been called the Gargoyles.
Well, it's like
They look like gargoyles. That little intro they gave them. All right, here we go.
Right, but like the premise is like they guard the city.
Fair. They're gargoyles.
Oh, shit,
You're right.
no.
Tampa Bay Vipers.
Oh wow, look at that. Even a blind squirrel finds it nuts. February 9th, 2:00.
Boom.
Let's go.
All right. I mean, yeah, I get it. They're the gargoyles who guard the city. I just want them to be called gargoyles.
I mean, I found out our quarterback is what's his first name? His last name is McGloin. Was it Matt McGloin? He was on the Raiders, and it's McGloin.
McGloin? Oh, Jesus Christ, that's obnoxious.
There's no A.
There's no A.
But yeah, this is him. You're looking at him right now. He played on the Raiders. He went to Penn State. I think he also played on the Buccaneers. Like he was around for like a pretty
young.
serviceable amount of time in the NFL.
Well, he's not that young. Oh God, I just realized how old I am.
But
yeah,
but
so
yeah,
he's 30. He's 30, 31.
But it gives me some hope that like at least I know like the quarterback. Like,
yeah, he's not some schmuck from out of nowhere.
Although honestly, well, yeah, because like if it was some schmuck out of nowhere and he's like better than Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, like that'd be pretty embarrassing, right?
Well, how do you think? That'd be fucking terrible.
But that'd be on brand for the Jets, so it's fine.
Do you think all of New York is going to unite under this?
No.
No. You don't. I was gonna say, what are the optics on the XFL for you? Do you see this working out?
I think it's gonna work out if they're allowed the patience for it to work out. Give like whether it's from the TV contracts. Like if they're able to draw any fans, which I'm sure they will because it's still football. And America, we live on football. But I mean, I don't think it's ever going to be the NFL. But I think
it'll have its own niche market though.
I think it'll have a niche market. I think it'll have a pretty stable market in time. It's just like, is it gonna be able to have that time? Is it gonna make the revenue to afford the XFL to keep, going at a relatively slow pace? It's not gonna blow up overnight.
It's really gonna come down to, well, does Vince McMahon want to put up with it?
Right.
At the end of the day, it's at his whim.
It's almost like, is it gonna be like curling where we get excited for every 4 years, or is it gonna be a staple season where this, like, you watch the NFL, then you go right to the XFL and baseball and NBA and NHL. It competes with a lot.
Yeah, no, because baseball's coming in. There's the NBA playoffs.
The NHL playoffs.
NHL playoffs.
I mean,
there's tons of shit.
It competes with a lot, which is something. I mean, the NFL competes with the NBA and NHL regular season. MLB postseason.
If they're playing Saturday nights, that's going to compete with the UFC.
Yeah,
that'll eventually compete with college football. Won't they bring it overlap with college and?
Well, I don't know how long the season's going.
That's true.
But even
just college sports in general,
it'll also compete with March Madness.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
So I mean, I hope it works out. I hope it works out because I'm not. I think
I'm not anti-XFL by any means.
Yeah, I'm not anti-XFL, but like if it doesn't work out, I probably won't miss it that much. But I still hope it works.
Me too. As far as I'm concerned, it creates jobs.
Yeah,
gives people bread to put on the table.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it. I hope it works out. I'll watch some Guardians games. I just hope it just can't be as bad as what was that other one that like Peter Thiel got behind, the AFL.
I forgot the abbreviation, but I think it was on like 5 weeks and then stopped.
And it was just done. It was so bad. I remember watching the first week, and it was just it was abysmal.
But I think like people are definitely gonna be a little skeptical to start because they're probably expecting it to be like what you're talking about. So that's kind of what I'm saying. If it's afforded the patience, then I think it'll work out in the end. But
I think here's where it's like I agree with you, but what I think the reality of it is, this league's gonna make or break the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
First 2 weeks make or break the league.
It probably will. It's probably unfair to say it, but it probably will.
I think so.
You'll have 2 weeks to prove yourself. Kind of like that's everything nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You have a limited opportunity to really grasp the market because we can move on to so many other things.
Well, it's because so much shit is accessible now, right?
Right.
Like even remote sports, like my little brother, he's a huge soccer head, right?
Yeah.
And the availability that European soccer is to him now is unbelievable compared to just 5-10 years ago.
Right.
He has access to everything.
So and it has like major TV deals because I think it play on like NBC Sports Network too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's so easy to watch anything you want. So if the XFL can't bring you in like super quick,
it's over.
It's probably over, which sucks, but it's probably over. But let's hope good things. I mean,
let's hope good things. It creates jobs.
Good things.
Creates jobs. Gives Matt what?
Matt McWoyne a job.
McWhat?
Matt McWoyne.
Loin?
McLoin. Goyne. Yeah.
McLoin.
There you go. Just
Matt
like
McLoin.
That. Just call him Matty Mick.
Matty Mick?
That may be inappropriate, but it's fine.
Okay.
I mean, one thing's for sure is our whole friend group's going to root for the Guardians. So
we have to.
At least that'll be fun.
It'd be No, you don't think there's going to be one asshole?
I mean, John has told me numerous times that he thinks I'm going to be the asshole.
He thinks you're going to be the asshole?
And honestly, I mean, I understand. Listen,
if Alex Smith was playing for any of these teams, I'd be the asshole.
Yeah.
I love Alex Smith. But enough about the XFL. Let's talk about this past Super Bowl.
Yep.
Let's talk about this past
real
football.
football.
The real football.
See right there. The XFL's not going to work.
Well, yeah, you're right. But this Super Bowl, man, what did you think overall? Well, first of all,
yep.
The end of the bench prediction. You just missed it.
Just missed it. We just missed being Aaron Boone.
You just missed it.
Yeah.
You predicted 31-27 and the final score was 31-20, right?
Yep.
And you predicted it in the Chiefs' favor.
Yep.
So you were...
Well, we had to pick it. I told Pat, because we kind of wrote it together, I told Pat, look, the prediction, Chiefs have to win by at least 1.5 because that's what I bet. So I can't go out here predicting a loss for my bet.
Well, you can't put that energy into the universe.
Right. So I don't care. Like if I bet the 49ers, we would have chose the 49ers to win. So that's a little behind the curtain for everyone. But the Chiefs deserve to win that game.
Was it that the Chiefs deserved to win, or was it that the Niners deserved to lose?
I mean,
taking nothing away from the Chiefs. I love Andy Reid. I was ecstatic when he finally got his Super Bowl. I think Patrick Mahomes is an exciting player, so I'm not trying to take anything away from the Chiefs. The fourth quarter Chiefs looked unbelievable like they've looked all year. But did the Chiefs win this, or did the Niners lose this?
So I think, as I wrote in our reaction to the Super Bowl, I think the 49ers definitely went away from what they do best in the second half. Yeah, so here's the stat I looked up because I was watching the Super Bowl and I was like, damn, Jimmy G is throwing the ball an awful lot. You know how many times he threw the ball?
I don't know exactly.
He threw 31 times in the Super Bowl.
Now, here's my question, and I don't know if you have those stats on hand, but did he do that at all during the season?
Oh, so here's the stat.
Okay.
So the 49ers had the bye and the wild card. So they played the divisional round and the NFC Championship game. Combined in those two games, he threw 27 times.
No way.
And 8 of them were in the NFC Championship game.
He only threw 8 times in the NFC Championship?
Well, yeah. I mean, the Packers couldn't fucking stop a damn anything.
Holy fuck.
So they just ran all up and down. But, that's insane. I mean, 31 times. And, it's only insane because he wasn't doing that. If, Mahomes threw 31, I'm sure he threw 30-plus times. But that's
Mahomes. That's what he does.
But yeah, fucking Aaron Rodgers would throw 40 times. But Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, same thing. You don't expect that from Jimmy G. And you were up 10 going into the fourth. What are you doing?
Not only are you up 10 going into the fourth, you got an interception at the beginning of the fourth.
And then you went 3 and out. And it didn't matter.
We went 3 and out, and you kept stopping the clock.
Yeah, they averaged 6 yards a carry, the 49ers. But they wanted to throw the ball 31 times.
This is why it's and I think I had a coach who drilled this in me when I was young, where it's if you're gonna get beat at what you do best.
Right.
That way you can go home knowing you gave them the best that you had.
Right.
But Kyle Shanahan, this is the same guy who blew the 28-3 lead in New England.
Think he would have learned.
Doing the same thing. Exactly. You think he would have learned. You suddenly changed the game plan? Why are you flipping the board? What you're doing is working. You're in the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think a little part of it has to do with how explosive the Chiefs offense is. So it's what if we go run heavy, but they eventually stop us, and then they scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. Obviously, they could do this whenever they want. They hit the big play to Tyreek Hill, and it was over.
Yeah, it
was over. Tyreek Hill had a moment before that where he was deflated on the sideline, and Pat Mahomes went up to him. I heard this on the radio, he went up to him and was like, "Dude, I need you to make a play." And the next play was that bomb down the field. And I mean that's
so epic.
That's a story. That's Pat Mahomes. Like that's the legend of Pat Mahomes, and he can throw the ball 31 times in the biggest game. Jimmy G did, but
Pat Mahomes could have the worst game. Pat Mahomes could have the worst game of his season during the Super Bowl and still win the Super Bowl.
And he did. He almost
that was
did.
The worst
he
game.
Played terrible.
I think that was the worst game of his season, if not his bottom three.
Yeah,
he looked terrible for 3 quarters.
But he turned it on. That's what the great ones do, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. Well, now here's the thing. We know what the legend of Kyle Shanahan and the legend of Jimmy G are saying right now.
Yeah.
But what about the legend of Pat Mahomes right now?
Dude, it's scary how it could go.
Because it's almost weird. It's almost like, you remember in Space Jam when the Monstars took all the power, all the talent from the NBA players? I feel like Pat Mahomes did that to Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. He just took Brady and Rodgers, who were like the top 2 quarterbacks, and they just had shitty seasons compared to the rest of their careers. They had good seasons for most quarterbacks. But Rodgers and Brady both had down years. And Patrick Mahomes comes in, 3rd season quarterback, and demolishes the league.
Yeah, I mean, he was incredible.
MVP, incredible. Right?
He was MVP last year.
MVP last year. Lamar Jackson was MVP this year.
Unanimous MVP this year. I mean, Mahomes
rightfully so.
Mahomes is incredible. I mean, he's worth whatever they want to pay him. I mean,
he already brought them the Super Bowl.
Here's the crazy part: like, he's 24.
I know.
So, like,
he's a baby.
Like long-term contracts like this are extremely rare in the NFL. But like, if you're the Chiefs, like, I don't know, you feel good about like 8 years fully guaranteed, whatever the hell you want.
Give Pat Mahomes whatever he wants if you're a Chiefs fan. That's how you have to be feeling about this. You have the best quarterback in the NFL. He's already a Super Bowl champ. He's already an MVP. He's already, was he Rookie of the Year?
I don't know.
We don't know.
No, well, his rookie year he didn't play because he was behind Alex Smith, so no.
Gotcha. But he won MVP. He's won a Super Bowl MVP, which I'm not sure he deserved, but he got it anyway.
No, I mean, he's the quarterback. He's the quarterback, and they had to come back. I mean, you know.
He had the big play. I know.
It's Hollywood. That part's all Hollywood. You got even Mahomes at that point. You know?
Fair enough. It's good press money. But I thought it was a fun Super Bowl to watch. You got a little bit of everything. You got explosive offenses. You got good defenses. Definitely better than last year's Super Bowl. Not even close. Did you enjoy the halftime show?
I mean, like, I enjoyed the dancing in the halftime show. I thought, like, the concert itself was it felt very rushed. Like,
well, I mean, they do have to set up and tear down in 5 minutes.
Right, but I feel like in the past, like, the artists have been able to sing, like, more of their songs instead of, like, continuing to, like, mesh into, like, other ones. I felt like Shakira and J-Lo were, like, all over the place musically with what they were doing.
Yeah, because with those artists, though, it's like you brought up when you said you liked the dancing. Those artists have been so much more about their, like, stage performance than the actual songs. Sure. Like, J-Lo's not a good singer.
For sure.
She sounds great on record, of course.
Well, everyone does.
Fix it in post.
Yeah.
But she's really not a great singer. So it's so much more about the dancing and the stage performance. It's funny. I saw a funny meme that showed like a picture from Adam Levine from the Super Bowl last year.
Dude, I mean, that was terrible, but yeah.
It was like Moms in 2019, and it's like the heart eye emoji. And it's like Moms in 2020 when it shows J-Lo and Shakira. This really isn't family appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the thing. I was like, damn, like, I'm happy I'm not watching it with like mom and dad right now.
I said the same thing.
We were watching it with Vogel's parents, but like, you know, I mean,
it's not your parents. It's different.
Yeah, it's whatever. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I had the same thought, Scott, because I'm watching it and like, it's not my favorite music, and it's not. I don't watch J-Lo live performances on YouTube, so it's like this is not what I go out and seek in my free time, or maybe I'm just saying that, but. I remember watching it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. J-Lo looks fucking great. Shakira looks great. These are great dances. I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, seeing J-Lo swing on this pole, I'm like, whew. I think the only reason I can enjoy this is because I'm not in front of my parents.
Right. Right. The one thing I was not disappointed, but I was a little surprised. I thought that they would have something with a tribute to Kobe. I know it's the NFL, but he touched like a lot of people, and I thought like maybe like they would have been like said something about him, like one of the performers. Obviously not a very big deal that they didn't. It doesn't take away anything, but it was just like the kind of vibe like around everything.
Well, let's talk about that. So, I really want to get into this, and I've got nothing but respect for Kobe Bryant. His loss was honestly, it's people get on people for being devastated when like an athlete dies.
He's
or
more
something
than
like
an
that.
athlete,
but that's kind of the point, right?
He won an Oscar.
Kobe's more okay.
Put respect.
The Oscar is the least impressive thing he's probably ever done.
Is it?
Take that Oscar and rub your balls with it, all right? This motherfucker is an NBA champion.
I would possibly disagree, but okay, we can go.
God damn, okay. But anyway, we can move past that. This is a guy who not only changed the culture of his sport, but I feel like he's the guy, he probably changed the culture of every individual that followed him. Like, if you were someone who... Because I feel like with basketball, it's much easier to get behind an individual compared to other sports.
For sure.
Basketball, because there's only 5 people on the court at a time per team, it's much easier to set your focus on one individual and kind of fall in love with that individual.
Yes, and they're extremely visible. They have no helmets, no hats.
Exactly.
They'll have a headband sometimes, but like for the most part.
And also the NBA lets their players dance, which I like. Kobe was somebody who motivated you. Kobe was somebody who, the Mamba mentality, where it was like, hey, you have to go out and get it. If your enemy is training for 5 hours, you need to train for 8.
Yeah.
If the best guy in the league shows up to practice on the court at 7 a.m., you have to be there at 6.
Right.
It's like that kind of mentality, and not just for children, right? But even for adults, an athlete can really mean something to somebody. So what is it, do you think, about Kobe Bryant that resonated with everyone across sports, across culture, from living room to living room? Like, why was Kobe's loss so devastating? What was it about him, apart from what I've said, that gave him such an impact on the people who followed him?
So first, obviously it's because it was a tragedy. The helicopter crash, and he was with his daughter. Mm-hmm. I saw something, I don't know how true it is, but like she was in his arms like the whole time while they passed. I don't know how true that is, but but regardless, you said he changed the culture of basketball and like basketball players. I would argue he changed the culture, period. Like he is an iconic superstar. He played in LA his whole career, all 20 years. Went there when he was 18, 19 years old. In a city full of stars, he shined the brightest for 20 years. You saw him tear his Achilles, and then he got up and he walked to the free throw line, shot 2 free throws, and walked off. And then he came back. You think of other sports, like when you tear your Achilles, like it's it. It's over.
Yeah, it's game over.
It's over. Like he's getting carted off. He's never playing again. His life is over. He came back. Not only did he get up, shot the free throws, walked off, he came back for 2 more years and played. He had like a superhero kind of vibe to him, where like nothing, like he was unbreakable. He played through anything. Like, it was like when he passed, it's like, no, he's not supposed to die. Like, he's like Superman. Like, Superman, nothing happens to Superman. Well, I don't know. I don't watch like superhero movies, but
no, you're perfect. What you're saying is perfect.
He like those people, like nothing happens to them. Like, they're always good.
Yeah, right. Like Yogi Berra lives to 100.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying?
Kobe's
Kobe's not done. Like, you slighted his Oscar, but like so soon after he retired, he got he was having like his whole second
crushing. He was
killing his second phase of life right away. Like, and there's like the story, like his work ethic is legendary. The Mamba mentality is more than basketball. It's about life. And it's no coincidence really that like as soon as he died, like we really started going on end of the bench again. Kobe meant a lot to a lot of different people. Whether you watched basketball or not, like you knew Kobe Bryant. That's the real test of a legend. Like if you go to your mom who doesn't watch a sport to save her life, and you go like, hey mom, like Kobe, and she's like, oh yeah, Kobe, I know Kobe. Like LeBron has that feature.
They transcend the realm that they play in.
Exactly. And I mean, Kobe was an assassin. No one worked harder than him. He would, rip your heart out and step on it if it meant beating you. I mean, there was a story when Patrick Ewing, I believe, was with the Orlando Magic he was on the staff, and Kobe was in Disney with his family, and he called up Pat and he was like, I want to come in and like work out. Like, can you make the gym available to me? And he's like, oh yeah, like, do you mind if like other players are there with you? Yada yada. And he's like, well, I don't think we'll have to worry about that. No one will be there when I'm in. And he was like, well, why? What time are you coming in? He's like, I'll be there at 4 a.m. And Patrick was like, bro, you're on vacation. He's like, no, I'm never off.
Yeah.
And like
Mamba mentality.
That's Kobe. And it's like, I don't know, I can go on and on, but Kobe's one of the reasons why I fell in love with basketball. I mean, I'm a Celtic fan, I'm not a Laker fan, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's Kobe. Like, Kobe, Derek Jeter, LeBron, Tom Brady, you may say you hate them, but you don't.
But they transcend the realm that they're in. No.
I mean, he's one of a kind. We'll never see another Kobe Bryant.
Well,
Never.
I'll say this. I have a good Kobe Bryant story. Thankfully to Joe.
Yeah.
When Joe was a kid, and this is Joe Santangelo, who was recently on for anyone listening. When he was a kid, he was maybe like 6, 7 years old, and he was in Disney World. Mm-hmm. He was wearing his Kobe jersey. And he's on line for some ride, right? And he's like almost at the end of the line. Like, meaning he's almost ready to get on.
Yeah.
But then he hears, "Hey kid, nice jersey." And he turns around, and it's Kobe Bryant.
I would shit my pants.
Joe runs off the line, fuck this ride, runs right at the Kobe. Kobe daps him up, gives him a high five, and like, Kobe didn't need to do that.
No.
Kobe at that time was probably the most important person in Disney World.
Yeah.
We're talking, this is mid-90s, late 90s Kobe. And he took the time to make a kid's day. Yeah.
I mean, like, Kobe also didn't have to be his daughter's basketball team coach.
Yep.
Like that's not, like, I know that may seem like nothing, but that's not very common for...
Definitely not.
For, like, athletes to do that. Like,
not at all.
He cared that much. Like, he grew and was growing women's basketball on top of everything he did in the NBA, which I think is a big part of his legacy that people may not really realize until like a few years later down the line. But I mean, we can go on and on about Kobe, but I mean, the Lakers played their first game on Friday since Kobe's death, and they had this elaborate ceremony, honoring him. It was honestly, it wasn't a funeral, but it was basically a funeral. I mean, LeBron spoke for, I think, 4 minutes. He was given like a speech that like the PR people wanted him to read, and people who follow basketball know this story by now probably, but he was reading it and he's like, like, LA, you deserve better than this shit. I'm just going to speak from the heart. And he threw the paper on the ground. And it's like, that's what Kobe does. Like, you can't put what he does into words on a paper, but like, it's in every single basketball player for sure. And every single person who watched him growing up, like, Kobe taught you so much about life that you probably don't even realize.
50 years from now, when you and I are hopefully old men and not, 6 feet under, 50 years from now,
yeah,
what's Kobe Bryant's legacy?
I think the Mamba mentality will live on, and I think like he will still be a basketball legend regardless. You'll probably forget about like the stuff he did off the court 50 years from now, to be completely fair. But like the legendary stories of his work ethic and what he meant to the game of basketball, I mean, that'll never go away, because he is this generation's Michael Jordan. It's not LeBron. It's Kobe.
No, that's who we grew up with.
Yeah.
That's who we grew up. They were, in some ways, they're kind of like the three work like a trio.
Yeah.
MJ was one era, then Kobe succeeded him, and then LeBron succeeded Kobe.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time all three of them were in the league at once?
Michael, no.
MJ was out when baby LeBron was in?
Yeah, Michael and Kobe played together.
Yeah.
Kobe and LeBron. But no, when Michael came back to the Wizards, I do
I feel
not.
like it was just before.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron was
I think
in the
they
league
just
yet.
missed. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been something. I mean, we still miss the fact, like, we still wish that we could have had a LeBron James, Kobe Bryant NBA Finals. That would have been
next level.
That would have been the goal, but unfortunately, it never happened.
It wasn't in the cards,
But like, is there any doubt the Lakers win the NBA Finals now?
Right.
Like, I said that to my friend who's a Laker fan. I'm like, they're gonna win.
And
Like,
everyone's
this is
gonna
really
root for
bad,
them.
but like
And everyone's gonna root for them.
Yeah, they're gonna have they have the entire city behind them regardless. But like, they're gonna have the world behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So I mean,
look, I'm really not a basketball fan. I'm not. But to say that Kobe Bryant wasn't a part of my childhood would be a straight up lie.
right?
Even not being a basketball fan, he was everywhere. He was on Nickelodeon.
Yep.
He was doing interviews on ESPN everywhere. Like everyone knew Kobe. Kids had Kobe Bryant's jersey. Fuck, man. The amount of times I was in high school and yelled out Kobe while I threw a fucking paper ball in the trash can.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he was there. I didn't give a shit about basketball, but he was there. He's in my mind,
Everyone knows Kobe.
Everyone knows Kobe. And it was really heartbreaking when he died. But
Yeah.
honestly, he's maybe... One way to look at it, and maybe it's not fair to look at it this way, but it's like maybe he just did what he had to do in terms of leaving his legacy behind. We got 40 years of Kobe. 40 years of Kobe is like 900 years of the average bear.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely right. It's not fair to say, but like nothing in this situation is fair. I mean,
Nothing about this is fair.
13-year-olds lost their wives, parents lost their wives. Like, nothing about this makes sense. So, I mean, like for 40 years, he left behind a hell of a legacy. There's no doubt in my mind he could have left a whole lot more if he was given another 40 years without basketball.
It's true. We'll miss Kobe, but he leaves behind a hell of a legacy. Thank you, Kobe. Rest in peace. Kobe. Let's move off of Kobe for now.
Yeah, can we do something happy? I mean,
let's do something happy. We did fall
about the
down.
Mets bullshit. Kobe's dead. Like, come on, like something.
Well, what do you got, Scott? What do you got? Give me what's the brightest thing in sports right now? What do you got for us?
I mean, the Mookie Betts trade is a pretty big news, but that's kind of bad too.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's bad for baseball.
Are the fucking I forgot who said this in the chat, but are the Dodgers gonna bail the Sox out of every bad fucking contract they make?
John said that, but like, I mean, probably. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, there'll always be a team. Like, David Price, way overpaid. Still give you almost 200 innings a year. I mean, he's not.
He isn't innings either.
He's gonna be, third, fourth starter in LA. Like, he may be just fine. Who knows? Who knows?
When you're a number 4 starter, all people really want is an ERA 4 or below.
Right.
You don't need anything crazy from your 4 starter. Yeah, I don't know. I just hate the Dodgers are already a strong enough roster. They didn't need this.
Dodgers are loaded.
They didn't fucking need this.
They're loaded, and I mean, we wrote about it Pat wrote about it on the site. I put it up last night around like 11 o'clock. And we tackled it mainly from the Dodgers perspective, and from the Dodgers perspective, it's great because
if you're a Dodgers fan, you're on cloud 9.
You got the 2018 AL MVP. He's a top 5 baseball player, best right fielder in baseball. Cody Bellinger plays right fielder. I mean, whatever.
It's a conversation.
Top 5 players in baseball. You're a Dodger fan. You woke up, you were probably up at that time because it was early, and you were ecstatic. You're a Red Sox fan. You better have been pissed. And if I was a Red Sox fan, I'd be pissed today too.
I was gonna say, how do the Red Sox feel about this?
This is what you get. So you get Steve Verdugo, fine, nice, good player. He's gonna be good. You got 4 years of control for him. That's great. You got a nice arm from the Twins. Whatever. You have a homegrown MVP superstar on your team. And you're not some shitty small market Arizona Diamondback. You're the Boston Red Sox. You can pay him to stay, but you don't want to.
Give him that big poppy money.
But the owners don't want to pay him. And look, if he really wanted $420 million, like, all right, that's a lot of money. That's fine. You can always negotiate. But to just punt on the season because you don't want to pay your best player, like, what is that? That's a small market team nonsense. You're Boston.
Hey, you're the Boston fucking
You're
Red Sox.
Boston.
You're a 100-year-old franchise.
That's why this is bad for baseball. It's great for the Dodgers, but it's bad for baseball that this was set. And then this is exactly, I mean, if you follow Charging the Mound, if you don't follow Charging the Mound, you should follow Charging the Mound. Chris Burkowski has the same exact opinion as I do on this. He went live today and told everyone about it. But it's just sad. It's a sad day. I mean, look, I'm a Yankee fan. I don't want to face Mookie Betts ever, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, you must be fucking happy.
But, look, Steve Verdugo's a lefty, so now in my head I'm like, crazy. I come to Yankee Stadium, hit 13 bombs a year. It's going to be fantastic. But, no, I mean, all joking aside, like, this is not good that the Red Sox felt they had to trade Mookie Betts. It's just not.
Let me argue this. I'm going to try and argue it because I agree with you, but I'm going to try and apply the Socratic method here. What if the Red Sox have a great fucking season without him? What if they do?
How?
Well,
They have no pit. They have Chris Sale, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Nathan Eovaldi. None of them have stayed healthy that well, so what are they going to do?
Let me shoot a different approach. What if they're rebuilding?
Okay.
What if that's their excuse me. What if that's their angle?
That's fine. But you didn't get a lot back for Mookie Betts. You got a player. You got two players with 4 years of control. One's a bullpen arm who throws 100 miles an hour, and one is Verdugo. So you got two players for a top 5 player in baseball. How is that helping your rebuild? And you're giving a butt ton of fucking cash to the Dodgers for David Price.
You know something?
So what are you doing?
You know something, Scott? It's like they could have waited to the trade deadline.
They could have just signed him.
They could have signed him. I suppose they also could, but it's clear they didn't want to, right? So I'm trying to see, like, what is the rationale here? They didn't want to sign him, so they needed to trade him. Are they trading him to rebuild? Are they still trying to win today? The move doesn't really make it clear.
They probably wanted to get under the luxury tax. I'm 95% sure that's an ultimate reason. But, like, I don't know. Look, I'm sure they're going to play hard. They're Boston. Even when they suck, they still play hard. They still have talent. I mean, they have Bogarts, they have Devers, they still have JD. They're still their offense is gonna take a hit, obviously without Betts, but like they can still be a good team. But a lot of things have to go right, especially with the pitching. That I don't know. As a Yankee fan, I'm thrilled, but as a baseball fan, I'm like, it's just sad that the Boston Red Sox had to do this. Or felt that they had to do this, I should say.
So is this just a fault of the Boston Red Sox, or is there something wrong with the financial structure of baseball?
It's probably a little bit of both. The Red Sox have the money, so it can't be the financial part of the Red Sox. They probably just don't want to pay the absurd luxury tax. Repeating, because I'm sure, and I didn't really investigate this that much. I'm sure they're in the repeater phase, so they have to pay a butt ton in luxury tax. They probably just didn't want to do it because, who does?
Couldn't tell you.
And look, they had their own cheating scandal. Maybe they think this is a good time to reboot things, but I still think you could have...
It's worth noting Mookie Betts is on a contract year, though, right? This is it. So the Dodgers did only get him for 1 year. They may end up paying him and have him forever, right? But at the end of the day, this is a contract year for Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if the Sox knew they weren't going to sign him, if they knew they weren't going to re-sign him, they had to get rid of him anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But, you never know. What
if they pull the move and what if they sign him after this season? What if they pull that move?
I would legitimately be shocked. I would be shocked. They wanted to give him 10 years, $300 million. Was the report?
I just want to pause. I can't imagine waking up in the morning and finding out Alonso was traded.
Right.
I'm trying to put this through a Mets fan's eyes, and that's the best I can come up with. Waking up in the morning, or DeGrom would probably be a better way. Waking up in the morning and seeing that DeGrom was just traded somewhere
for a player.
Yeah, like 1 for 1.
Yeah.
It's like we sent DeGrom and Mets for 2 players to come back. neither one holds the caliber that DeGrom has. Because from the sounds of it,
right.
it doesn't sound like anything the Red Sox got back can even hold a candle to what Mookie Betts was
No,
able
I
to
mean,
pull off.
Verdugo...
and maybe Verdugo grows into that kind of player, right?
I think Verdugo was a number 2 overall draft pick, so he is highly regarded. He's gonna be a great player for them. But, like, you had a homegrown superstar,
fan
top
favorite.
5. This is what you dream of when you draft someone, that they turn into Mookie Betts. And you were like, nah, we're all set. Like, what is that? You're Boston. Like, this is something I expect from, like
Arizona.
I said, Arizona, San Diego. I mean, no offense to the Mets. Yeah.
That is a Mets move. That is a fucking Mets move.
No offense, Mets, but, that's where we're at.
That's where we're at. I asked you to bring up like a happy thing in a happy thing in sports.
I'm not good on the spot.
We
dude.
immediately just went into Mookie Betts, it's bad for baseball. Do we have any shining sports news? Is there anything all sport? I guess the XFL is kind of
the XFL.
That's kind of fun. Everyone can be happy about that. We could be happy that just baseball's coming back.
Baseball's coming back.
I'm really excited for baseball to come back. I do think the Mets can make the playoffs. I'm not sure they can win that division, but
it's gonna be a battle.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be easy.
No.
It's not going to be easy. They're going to have a good
day.
season. I'll say this. I'm very confident they'll finish 500 and above.
It's
Whether or not they make the playoffs is a whole other battle.
It still all comes back just like last year. Can Diaz figure it out?
Can Diaz figure it out? And my thing is, if he doesn't have it figured out by like June, he loses the job.
To who?
Right,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know.
Any of the new arms they got, Seth Lugo pitched great last year on that spot. There are guys who. Here's my thing. I think people overcomplicate what a closer is.
Okay.
I think people overcomplicate. Is it a tough job? Yes. Is the pressure on? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's a pitcher who needs to get 3 fucking outs.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's really all it is. It's an inning where you need 3 outs. The 9th inning and the 8th inning are very similar. So, to me, a guy like Seth Lugo could easily pull off a closer position. Could he be one of the best in the league? No. But is he going to blow 9-10 games a year? No.
Yeah. I think still, like, people are like, who's no Mariano Rivera? Like, regardless of any fan. Right, I'm not saying you, but I think in general, fans are like, well, this guy was so freaking good. Why can't everyone else be like that?
Yeah, no.
It's not
normal.
Right. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm a Yankee fan. That's why, like, I automatically go there in my brain.
Well,
but I think other people subconsciously
think of it like that.
Yeah.
They want the guy who's just going to be super lights out in the 9th. And there are some guys like that, right? Diaz was like that before he became a Met.
Well, yeah. And, that's a whole other thing.
So the story goes. But at the end of the day, just put a solid bullpen arm in there. If he blows 4 or 5 saves a year, I'm not going to fucking cry about it.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure Diaz blew at least 8 or 9, at least. And that's not counting the amount of tie games he came in and blew. So to me, it's like, if this guy is just not pulling it off by June, put anyone fucking else in there. Like, it's a good bullpen was the difference between the Mets being in the playoffs and not.
Yeah.
And to Brody's credit, he went out and he rebuilt the bullpen.
He tried.
Season. He did his best.
You gotta say he tried.
No, I'm happy. Outside of this Diaz-Cano deal, Brody's killing it. The problem is that Cano-Diaz deal was his big deal. And it completely flopped. But everything around that big flop is working out pretty well. So I have confidence that the bullpen is at least going to be better than last year. But I hope that Luis Rojas is not married to the idea of Edwin Diaz as closer.
Right.
I'm begging for him not to be married to that idea.
But is it going to be all his decision?
No! Exactly. That's the problem.
Right.
Sometimes I
what
don't trust that guy. But Brody's going to want that because Brody's... Look, I don't know the guy. I don't know him, obviously. But he seems stubborn.
Brody?
Yeah.
Well, he's an agent.
Exactly.
You know.
So he's inherently stubborn. So in the back of his head, he wants to force this Diaz move to work. Yeah. Because if some part of this Diaz-Cano deal can work, he looks really good.
Yeah. I would say, like, the worst thing that he's done is that deal and his compulsive desire to always fucking speak.
Yeah, he needs he needs to be in the shadows a little more.
I hate his voice.
I always say Yankee fans, most of them do. I'll say most no. but there's a pocket of Yankee fans that really don't know how good they have it with Brian Cashman.
He's the best.
That guy is going to go down as one of, if not the best GM in sports.
Yep.
Consistent, goes out and makes the deals happen, brings the best talent in the league to New York.
Yep.
And they're never a PR nightmare.
Well, because he never lies.
He never lies. And even in the steroid scandal window, where there were certainly plenty of Yankees who got caught up in that, whether we're looking at Giambi or Pettit, but the PR was perfect. Guys like Giambi and Pettit came forward and were like, yeah, we did it. We're sorry.
Yep.
You know?
Because what else are you going to do?
What else are you going to do? Or in Pettit's case, he's like, I did it to come back from an injury. I wasn't trying to cheat my fellow player. You know? Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I like Andy Pettit. I think we share a birthday, so I'm not coming at him. But, you know, that's a big thing, too.
Yeah.
Is that your GM shouldn't be making things worse for you. It's like, you know, Billy Beane can kind of have a habit of that, too. He can make things worse than they actually are because he's a big personality. Right. Brody's like that, too. He's a big personality. But Brian Cashman is just one sector of the Yankees I've just always been jealous of. Yeah. It's like, I was never even like jealous of Jeter as a shortstop, even though I respect that he's like one of the best to ever play the game. But to me, it's like, hey, we redo this universe 1,000 times. He's a Yankee 999 times. Yep. I'm sitting here like, why didn't we get Cashman? I feel like that was attainable. You know, because we got Joe Torre. Joe Torre was a Mets manager before he was a Yankees manager. That's true. You know, Yankees and Mets can overlap more than most people would think, like Yogi Berra too. Yeah. But Cashman.
Cashman was homegrown, dude.
I wanted him.
Homegrown.
I know, but we could take him.
No. I mean, come on now. Come on. We're
coming up on an hour, so I don't know if you had anything you in specific wanted to talk about.
That was an hour?
Yeah, no, we're done. I'm not pissed. I'm just shocked.
I can keep going.
That's an hour. We have like 5 minutes left.
All right.
Do you have anything we didn't touch on? I feel like everything I brought up in the beginning we touched on. Did we miss anything?
I'm trying to think of what you told me we were going to talk about yesterday, but I feel like we hit everything.
We got the Mets.
Yep, got you.
We got baseball.
Kobe.
We got Kobe. We got the Super Bowl. We got the XFL.
Yeah, that was it.
I'm going to double check that text I sent you just to make sure. Because I remember you were like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, well.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there was so much, and I was like, my brain is like all over.
From
writing everything and, work. So it's like, I need to zone in on something.
Yeah, Mets manager debacle, Beltran and Rojas, Kobe, Super Bowl, incoming baseball season.
All right,
so we covered all that and more.
It's a good freaking pod right there.
It is a good freaking pod. So, I mean, we got 5 minutes.
Yes, we do.
I want to hand the mic over to you.
Okay.
What do you got? What's coming up? What can we expect? What's going on, Scott? The mic is yours. Leave it to the people. Yep. Tell them why you love sports. Give them your last say. This is it.
So, I mean, a lot's been going on. If you guys follow the blog, thank you. You've seen all the work we've been doing. We've put up about 15 posts in 3 weeks, which is pretty remarkable for just being me and Pat for the most part. We're starting to really gain steam. The NBA trade deadline is Thursday at 3. So there's probably going to be a lot of NBA stuff unless nothing happens, which that'll be a bummer. Of course, as baseball continues to approach, we're going to do all the breakdowns that we did last year, team by team, division by division, who's going to win, who's going to make the wild card, anything baseball, we're going to have it. The Instagram is going to continue to advertise everything we're doing. You could follow that on Instagram at _end of the bench. And then we're going to really start to grow our Twitter. We're on it now. It's at the EOTB for End of the Bench. You give that a follow. We're going to really start to break down games as they're happening. We're going to live tweet NBA games. Once March Madness goes, we're going to start live tweeting a lot of that. I mean, I'm a big college basketball fan, but most people kind of join the party in March, rightfully so. It's a great time. And then once baseball starts, we're going to be all over that too. I know Pat's really excited for that. That's his time to shine for sure. And we're just gonna be all over everything. There's not really gonna be something we shy away from. And a little sneak peek. I hope in 2020, when I am done with school, that we're not just going to hear me and Pat on the Landy Lodge. We're going to hear us on the End of the Bench show.
Yes!
But we'll wait and see. It's TBD, but it's definitely in the works. Something me and Pat both want to do. Hope Pat listens. Didn't tell him about this. So, it may just be the Scott show. Who the hell knows? But no, it won't be just the Scott show because I'm incredibly boring just by myself. There will be someone with me regardless. But yeah, that's really our plan. We want to grow Twitter. Please give us a follow on all social media and check out the blog. We're growing pretty fast. We just had our best month in January. And I mean, we're already on pace to break it. Our followers are the best. I just can't thank them enough for everything that they've been doing.
Fuck yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the trilogy is complete. Scott Castellano has been on 3 motherfucking times, and I think this was the best pod of them all.
We're experts by now. It's about fucking time.
Third time's the fucking charm. But, dude, exciting fucking things. I've been thrilled watching you guys grow. This is great.
It was not possible without you. I tell you all the time. You built the site. You showed me how you eventually
gave some
turned it
video
over
tutorials,
to me.
yeah.
Gave a video tutorial. You forgot a very key part of how to link the stuff on the homepage to where it's supposed to go.
My bad.
But miraculously,
I can't be perfect.
I figured that out by myself. Don't know how. But yeah, I mean, you've been instrumental. And that is
my pleasure, man.
That is why the End of the Bench is a proud sage of the Landy Lodge.
Sages. And if you ever come to a point where you need some sages, you know who to call.
Yes.
All right, motherfuckers. That was episode 58. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you next time. www.theendofthebench.com for all your sports takes. But from fans, not from snobby-ass reporters. Scott Castellano, thank you for coming on, my man.
Thank you, buddy.
And forever and ever and ever, whatever it is beyond that. What you might call God in the Western tradition, or Brahman in Hindu philosophy, or Tao in Chinese. Every one of us is really that, but we are pretending we aren't. And we are pretending with tremendous skill and deception. Who are you?